Hey, everybody, it's Mark. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I have another episode of the Mark My Words podcast, In the News, with all the news that independent paint retailers need. Before we start out today, I wanted to give a shout out, as I've been doing every day. He forced me to wear the shirt backwards because there's nothing on the front. But Charlie Jacobellis, New Palace Paints in the Bronx, New York, Bronx represents, was good enough to send me this shirt, at least after I asked him a couple of times. I really wanted a shirt from the Bronx, and Charlie's a great one. My store's in the Bronx. I was there personally for 35 years. We had two stores. Charlie had a store right in the middle, and over the entirety of my career, he was by far the toughest competitor that Tremont Paint had. Dynamite retailer, about halfway through my time in the business. So this would have been 10 or 15 years ago, as I recall. He added Ace years before anybody was doing that sort of creative thinking about what to do with a paint store in New York at the time. Paint stores sold paint, and basically that was it. So Charlie is a dynamite retailer. My father competed against New Palace. I competed against New Palace, and both of us knew that New Palace kept you working hard. They were a fair competitor, and it was great to share the space with you, Charlie, for those 35 years. Thank you so much for sending me this shirt. I really do appreciate it. On with the news. Paint maker Benjamin Moore has announced that due to ongoing material shortages, they are temporarily suspending two discounts currently available to dealers: the Pro Show Painter Breakfast discount buy-in and the truckload discount have both hit the cutting room floor. The company made the announcement to dealers in an unsigned and unattributed email sent to dealers on September 27th. Benjamin Moore called these changes short-term solutions and warned dealers to be prepared for adjustments to their pricing programs, which are still to come. Sounds to me like Benjamin Moore is going to be revisiting this issue. From what I'm hearing, dealers should also be prepared for a price increase from the Montvale, New Jersey paint maker sometime in the early first quarter of 2022. The price inflation that I'm seeing from the larger manufacturers that report their results publicly tell me that Benjamin Moore has not increased their prices enough to offset the increases in raw material particularly, but in other aspects of the manufacturing process, particularly the price of cans, they have not increased their prices enough to offset that. And so I do think dealers should be expecting that price increase. The good news is, if you follow me, if you read what I've been sharing, times of high inflation, I find, are excellent. For paint dealers, the value of your inventory goes up with every price increase. I calculated the other day while working on a blog that if you had bought $250,000 worth of gold on October 1st, 2020, and $250,000 worth of paint on that same day, and held on to them both, the paint, in fact, would be worth a lot more. So don't be afraid of inflation. Don't be afraid to buy more paint. As long as you have the demand for it, it seems like a good investment. In other news, Worcester Brush, the 170-year-old brush and roller manufacturer, has announced a significant expansion, breaking ground in October on a new manufacturing facility and warehouse, which will add over 600,000 square feet of space in the company's hometown of Worcester, Ohio. The news coming just in time for dealers who are already dealing with shortages from Worcester. Even before shortages became a thing, dealers of Worcester products were calling me regularly, wondering what did I know that was going on at Worcester to cause them to be out of stock in so many items. This move will not quite double the size of Worcester's manufacturing and warehousing capabilities. Later this week, I'm recording a podcast with Worcester CEO Ben Maybaugh. I expect that episode will be available sometime before the end of October. So dealers looking for news on the brush and roller making giant should keep an eye on my YouTube channel. Glidden, Valspar, and Sherwin-Williams have all announced their colors of the year. Glidden, currently owned by PPG, named color 112-5 Guacamole their color of the year, keeping the trend. The green tone in line with what other manufacturers have been releasing as their color of the year. with more than 60% of Americans in a recent survey sharing that they would use green to paint somewhere in their home, and an over 200% increase in internet searches for green paint colors. It's no wonder that green is getting so much attention as color of the years get announced. Valspar names a palette of colors each year, so I won't go into them all, but like PPG and the other companies who have already announced, the palette is led by Blanched Time, another green. Sherwin-Williams announcing that a cool blue would get the nod, the company making their color Illusion their color of the year for 2022. Later this month, it's expected that Benjamin Moore will announce their color of the year as well, giving dealers an opportunity and a good reminder to update their websites and POP around their stores to reflect these new color trends. In a related story, paint brand Dutch Boy also announced their color of the year and nobody gave a shit. Behr, the paint brand of big box retailer Home Depot, announced a new product offering taking aim at the super premium paint consumer, which independent paint retailers and Benjamin Moore have done such a good job marketing to over the years. Behr, the paint brand of Home Depot, recently announced a new product in their interior line to be sold exclusively through the big box retailer. Behr Dynasty offers our most stain repellent, scuff resistant, and fast drying one coat coverage all in one can, says Jeff Kennard, Home Depot's Executive Vice President of Merchandising. We believe this is the most innovative paint offered in years through our exclusive relationship with Behr, and we are thrilled to offer this innovation to our customers. Sounds to me like Home Depot is tired of seeing their customers going to Ben Moore dealers for Regal, Aura, and ScuffX, and is trying to keep some of that business in the store. Available in a matte flat, an eggshell finish, a satin semi-gloss, and a high gloss, the company claims that the product is scuff resistant. Dynasty is already available on the Home Depot website and in stores and will cost consumers $53 a gallon. Bought online, that includes free delivery. Independent paint retailer Wall Hour, headquartered in White Plains, New York, is celebrating their 100th year. My two stores in the Bronx occasionally competed with Wall Hours, owned by the Duncan family and a member of the All Pro Group. I always found them to be an excellent retailer. A large Benjamin Moore dealer, Wall Hour is also an Ace Hardware store, as well as Hunter Douglas for window treatments. In their 15 stores around New York's northern suburbs, Wall Hour also sells fabric, decorative hardware, which is a category more paint dealers should consider entering, as well as doing custom upholstery and wallpaper. So congratulations to the Duncan family and to Wall Hours for making it to their 100th year. Finally, software maker Epicor announced that it had purchased CBC, the maker of Decor and Decor Fusion POS systems. This is an interesting story to me because I've been sharing with dealers for several years now, and I've even blogged about it on the topic earlier this year, stating my view that CBC's days were numbered, and it turns out that that is accurate. Built on a closed database, which often required a service call just to run a report, CBC's Decor system is a 30-year-old technology whose usefulness was waning. Built originally just for paint dealers in a time when that sort of specificity was required to properly manage our businesses and our types of customers, the digital world has passed CBC by. The days of independent retailers needing custom-made software are over. Independent retailers do not function any differently as retailers than any other type of retail operation. They need to place orders, they need to track inventory, they need to track their business, they need their customers to be able to access their accounts, to be able to pay their bills online. These are all things that are standardized, whether you're a paint retailer, a hardware retailer, or a clothing retailer. Your customers need these same applications. And so the point of sale market has changed dramatically over the last 10 years, with specialty use applications like CBC was making effectively becoming of no additional value. In fact, I would argue that readily available point of sale system that has not been made specifically for paint retailers would have not only all of the functionality that paint dealers have come to expect in systems like CBC and others, but also every other type of functionality imaginable. And of course, as that functionality advances, as the internet and technology advances what websites can do, more modern point of sale systems will be updated and kept up to date by competitive factors. For these reasons and more, paint dealers should not see a point of sale system designed specifically for them as the holy grail of point of sale. More to the point, in a modern day, in a digital age, the point of sale system that is fully integrated with your web and e-commerce, your point of sale, your ordering from your manufacturers and your marketing, all on an open database with a single database that runs that entire system. That's the model going forward. The CVC model was an old one, and this outcome comes as no surprise to me. Dealers I speak to about point of sale, they all share one thing, and that is fear of transition to a new system. So very few dealers that I know actually look at their point of sale system as an asset that brings benefit to the business. They're stuck with them to a certain extent, paying the fees on a monthly basis. The thought of transitioning to a new point of sale system is too much to bear. And that's exactly what CBC and now Epicor would want you to think. It's that very fear that kept dealers and keeps dealers now paying $500 up to $2,000 a month for point of sale support, depending on the number of stores that you have. In the years since most dealers have made their last point of sale upgrade, data and databases have changed, making upgrading to a new point of sale system as easy as plugging in your new system. And dealers should not be afraid to bring their point of sale and their e-commerce into the 21st century. I don't want to spend too much more time on this topic, and I have been told by some people that sometimes I have a tendency to become an advertisement for my revolution. For dealers not sure exactly what I'm talking about, what I would say is sit back, relax, and sometime in the middle of the fourth quarter of this year, sometime in mid-November, I'll be introducing my revolution. That is a digital package intended to support independent paint retailers, point of sale, e-commerce, integrations with transportation, accounting, and marketing, designed to support independent paint retailers for the digital decades ahead. So thanks for tuning in today. I'm Mark Lipton. This has been Mark My Words in the News. I'll be back in 2 weeks with more news for independent paint dealers.